Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Lee from Bukit Mertajam. And as you know, I'm now teaching WASA or UASA for primary schools. SJKC, SJKT and SK, they are the same. So for this session, I'm going to teach you Bahasa Melayu Bahagian B. Before this, you would have watched Bahagian A, objective. Bahagian B, Bahasa Melayu, is a subjective paper, meaning to say you have to write the answers by yourself. Of course, there are choices given whereby you have to tick or circle or underline. Yes, there are. But of course, there's no ABCD objective style answers. Bahagian B, if you can see here, 15 marks are allocated for this paper, this part of the paper, and it is suggested that you spend 20 minutes to complete this paper. Now, Bahagian A, objective, I also said 20 minutes. So it's up to you as an exam candidate. It is your style. You can, number one, use up the 20 minutes given. Let us say Bahagian A, 20 minutes. Use up all the 20 minutes. What do I mean by saying that? Now, you could, let us say, you finish the paper, the Bahagian A, just this part of the test paper. Let us say you spend 12 minutes, finish. So you have 8 minutes left. So number one, I can tell you that you can continue to Bahagian B. Maybe Bahagian B, you need 15 minutes to finish. Again, you have 5 minutes because it is suggested you use 20 minutes. So 5 minutes, 12 minutes, and then Bahagian C, Bahagian D, you may do the same thing. That means you may finish before the allocated time. Now, towards the end, you may have, let us say, half an hour or 25 minutes or 20 minutes. So what do you do to that 20 minutes or 25 minutes or half an hour? You have that time, go back to Bahagian A, part A, to check your answers, to see whether you have answered correctly. Did you miss out any questions or any wrong spelling? You know that Bahasa Melayu and English, we focus on your ejaan for Bahasa Melayu. For English, of course, we focus on your spelling, your punctuation, tanda bacaan. Did you put a comma where it should be? Full stop where it should be? Did you put a full stop? Did you put capital letters where it should be? So that is the 25 minutes use. Number two, you can use up the 20 minutes given. Let us say Bahagian A, 20 minutes. You finish Bahagian A in 12 minutes. You have 8 minutes left. Use all the 8 minutes to check Bahagian A. Don't go to Bahagian B first. So that means you spend all your 20 minutes Bahagian A. So the leftover, the balance of 8 minutes, you check your answers. See whether you have answered correctly. See whether you missed out anything. See whether the first time around you selected the answers correctly. And use up all the 20 minutes. Then you move to Bahagian B, 20 minutes again. So same thing. You may finish it in 15 minutes. You have 5 minutes left. Number one, you can continue to Bahagian C. Number two, use up the balance of 5 minutes to check your answers. After that, you don't go back anymore. You continue to Bahagian C until the end. So there are two ways. Now, as I mentioned in my last videos, a good exam candidate will not have leftover time and start to draw. Bahasa Melayu, we say conteng-conteng. You know, scribble things on the paper. Draw cartoons, draw patterns, sign your name, write this, write that. unrelated to the question. A good exam candidate will not do this. So I hope you train yourself now. If I were an exam candidate now, I will use up every minute that is given to me. I will not finish before that. It's okay to finish before the time given, because normally extra time is given. Because the examination syndicate or examination board, I won't use syndicate. The board of this exam board definitely will consider some are fast, some are slow, some in between. So when they give time allocation, they definitely have done a research. How much time should be given? So I will not encourage students to, finish and then start scribbling, conteng. Or some examiners will tell you, finish, check your answers, but you are not doing it. So, okay, you have to keep quiet, and then it's better you sleep. So we have students who actually lie on the table and they actually sleep, until, the saliva comes out, and then they start to snore, but then they sleep, Or some examiners will say, okay, you finish, you give me your paper, you can leave. So, they go out and they start running here, running there. Now, if you run here and run there, I wouldn't feel so bad. I would feel bad if you go out of the examination hall, you discuss with your friends outside there, and you discover that certain things you did not write. Actually, you knew the answer. That is the end of you. Because you can never come back in to do any correction. So, if you listen to my advice, be a good exam candidate. Use up all the time that is given. Check and recheck, write and rewrite. Think carefully because you have time. So it is not advisable to take your pen or your pencil and write, and you finish, and then I got so much time. Sit there and look here, look there. Keep looking at the clock, see whether it's time to go out. So I advise you to use up your time usefully. Train yourself, because you still have 5, 6 or 7 years to go. It's not the end of your school life. You still got another, if you are in year 6, you still have another 5 years, 6 years. If you are going to a Chinese private school, independent school, you have 6 years. So, if now you have this kind of habit, you will bring it to secondary school. And that will not help you. Okay? Now, bahagian B has two main components which they test you on. Number 1, kefahaman teks. Understanding of the text, because it is comprehension. Comprehension is understanding. Number 2, tata bahasa bersepadu. So tata bahasa, you see, in the Yuasa, this Bahasa Melayu paper, they give you grammar questions based on the text. That means the question is a grammar question, but then the question comes from the text, from the comprehension, you see. And then, of course, you are tested on this part, where we call response kritis dan creative. Response, I'm sure you know. Your response is your reaction or your answer. Your answers should be creative. That means you think by yourself. Okay? The ideas are from you. You are creative, means to say you use your way to imagine, to write. Of course, your answer should be practical, logical. But it is creative because it comes from your own mind. And it must be kritis. Kritis means critical. It's an English word. Creative is also an English word, actually. Now, kritis means to say critical. Now, sometimes many people misunderstand. They think that when you critique or you criticize or you are critical, it means to say you say bad things about other people. Not in language. Not in language. Whether it is Bahasa Melayu or English, or I'm sure the Chinese language as well, or the Tamil language. When you criticize in language, it means to say you have a very deep understanding of the topic and you know it's good and it's bad, the advantages, the disadvantages, the pros and the cons. Then you are able to criticize. That means you are able to say, you are able to what you call figure out the good and the bad of something. Okay, that is language, to criticize. Okay, so I will give some examples now. For example, you are given petikan text, that means a comprehension, a passage, and sometimes or most of the time, the passages can come from your textbook. Okay, one passage is a short one. And then, they will ask you questions, you have to answer by yourself. You have to write by yourself. So there are several methods. One is they ask you the question, you answer. The other is they ask you the question, they give you half of the answer. The rest you continue by looking at the text. Okay? Now, as I mentioned before earlier, okay? Comprehension means you understand through reading. It is not looking for the answers. So we have students who look at the question and then they recognize a few words from the question and then they go to the passage and they start looking for those few words. And then, hey, this is the one. Then straight away write the answer. If you were in year 1, 2, and 3, I understand. Because your understanding skills, the recognition of words is not that wide. You don't know so many things. So if you start looking for the answers and recognizing, it is okay. But for year 4, 5, and 6, this should not happen. You should understand the whole passage by reading every line. And then look at the question. Look for what you call kata kunci. Kata kunci means the keywords. If it is comprehension, what are the keywords? The keywords will be apakah, siapakah, mengapakah, bagaimanakah, berapakah. So they will ask you why, how, when, who, what. So by looking at apakah, then you know there is what. Then you look for the situation or the thing or the animal. If they ask you siapakah, you know that this keyword wants you to talk to find a person. Then from there you look for the answer in the passage. Okay? Now I will tell you the tips on how to do the comprehension correctly and properly. You can see here, baca keseluruhan. I mentioned just now. Read the whole passage line to line until the end, once or twice. It's up to your own understanding. Okay? Do not worry about the time. Oh, it's time already, I cannot do it. You have time. If you follow what is suggested, you have time. Okay? So read the passage carefully. Do not just look for the answers without reading the passage. You have to train yourself. Like I mentioned, if you were in year 1, 2, and 3, you just look for the answers, I understand. But if you were in 4, 5, and 6, year 4, year 5, year 6, and you are still doing that, then I disagree. Because you have still got 5 or 6 years ahead of you. When you come to SPM, or MOET, STPM, or if you are going to further your studies, IELTS, TOEFL, I can guarantee you, you have to read between the lines, or IGCSE, O-level, A-level. Every line is important. You have to read every line, and you have to start training now. You do not wait until secondary school, when it is necessary, when you need to and have to, then you start doing it. I would not agree. Why? Because by that time, you reach secondary school and you realize that you need to do it, you have already developed the bad habit of just looking for the answers. You would not have the patience to read. I can guarantee you that. So as a good exam candidate, remember what I say. Read every line. Train yourself from now. Every line is important. Do not look for the answers. If indeed it's just looking for answers, why do we write comprehension? Comprehension means comprehending. Comprehending means understanding. So why not? Why do we need pemahaman? Comprehension, understanding. But we might as well write pencarian maklumat, pencarian jawaban rather than pemahaman. Am I right? So I would just have to write look for answers, looking for answers on this section. Correct, Emma? Or looking for information. It defeats the purpose. Comprehension means comprehension. You have to get it right. Okay? So to train yourself. Year 4, 5, and 6, you really have to train yourself. You must have the patience to read. Otherwise, when you go higher, you will not have the patience to read. You will just keep looking for the answers. Your knowledge will be that limited because your mind is only on the answers, not on the knowledge that that passage gives you, and that is bad. Okay? Pandukan text, whatever you write, your answer, it can be half. That means they ask you the question, they answer half, you continue the half. Like continuing a sentence, or a full question you have to answer. Berpandukan text means your answers must be taken from the passage. Do not answer outside the text. That means jangan teka luar konteks. That means out of the passage. Context is the passage. Okay? Do not teka. Teka means guess. No guessing. The answer is there. Unless it's a K-but question. Otherwise, no. The answer is there. Okay? And there are two questions usually where they ask you from the passage. But it is not comprehension. It is grammar. I give you an example. For example, in the passage there is a sentence. Mak Mina menanam pokok bunga di halaman rumah. Mak Mina plants flowers in her house, in the compound of her house. The question is, bulatkan or gariskan, that means circle or underline kata berimbuhan yang terdapat dalam ayat. That means in the sentence there is one word based on imbuhan. You know that in grammar, bahasa Melayu, imbuhan is very, very important. Imbuhan means ber, ter, me, or mei, like mempunyai, ke, an, pe, an, or just pe, pemahaman, or pekerjaan, or pekerja. So they are not the same, like pekerja and pekerjaan definitely not the same. Imbuhan pe usually is people. Pekerja is worker. Pekerjaan is the job, the occupation. So they are entirely different, but you have to know that that is called kata berimbuhan. So what does this tell you? You have to remember this. WASA students, year 4, 5, and 6 must know how to, bahasa Melayu say, mengenal pasti. You have to identify the part of the grammar. That means, what is kata berimbuhan? What is kata adjective? For example, rumah Tuan or Encik Zaki sangat besar. Then they ask you, bulatkan kata adjective. So you must know what an adjective is. Besar is the adjective, bulatkan. So I want to tell you this. WASA does not test you on whether you know the correct answer. Like, example like worker, pekerja. It does not only test you on pekerja. It tells you the word is pekerja and they want you to know which part of grammar is pekerja. So again, like I mentioned just now, is kata berimbuhan, or it could be nama terbitan, pekerjaan. So you must know how to recognize verbs, kata kerja, or adjectives, or it could be kata hubung. One sentence and they ask you which is the kata hubung. You circle the kata hubung. Kata hubung is conjunctions like dan, atau, like all this. Okay, lalu, all this. So you have to circle. So remember this. You have to identify the name of the grammar term. Okay, that's called the istilah. And there is one question. Again, they take the sentence from the passage. So the same thing. I just say the same example. Mak Mina menanam pokok bunga di halaman rumah. And then they draw a box, 2 sentences. They want you to choose they want you to choose the sentence that has the same meaning as Mak Mina menanam pokok bunga di halaman rumah. And you put a tick there. So maybe the first sentence is Mak Mina, pokok bunga ditanam oleh Mak Mina di belakang rumah. And then another one is pokok bunga ditanam oleh Mak Mina di halaman rumah. So which is correct? The second one. So you put a tick there. So that is called tata bahasa bersepadu. Meaning to say, they take the sentence from the comprehension and they ask you a question based on grammar. But the sentence is taken from the passage. That is called tata bahasa bersepadu. Okay? And now I will go to this part. Soalan kedua, second one, tidak melebihi 30 tata perkataan, not more than 30 words. Okay, not more than 30 words. And remember here, if the question asks you, mengapakah Amin menangis? So the answer is, why did Amin cry? Or he fell into the drain, example. Your answer cannot be, dia terjatuh ke dalam longkang, cannot. Or kerana dia terjatuh ke dalam longkang, cannot. Your answer should be, Amin menangis kerana. So remember bahasa Melayu. Your answers must be from the question. Answer from the question, that goes for this as well. Soalan 2, second question. They will give you a situation. The situation, for example, rakan sekelas Anda, your classmate, terjatuh semasa berlari-lari di luar bilik kelas. So he was running outside the classroom and he or she fell down. The question is, sebagai seorang rakan, apakah yang akan Anda lakukan as a friend? What would you do? Your answer must be from the question. You must answer, sebagai seorang rakan, saya akan, and then your point. So I show you an example. 1 point and we call it isi huraian. Isi huraian ringkas, that means a short explanation or a short definition or a short idea that talks about the first one. So you use dan, you use atau, you use lalu. So 1 isi and 1 huraian ringkas, a short definition or a short explanation. And then straight away go to the second point using seterusnya. Saya akan, second point. Same, second point followed by huraian ringkas, a short explanation or a short definition. Okay, so I give you an example now. So I will start like this. Sebagai seorang rakan, saya akan segera memapahnya ke dalam bilik kelas. So as a friend, I will memapah means to to hold him and lead him to the classroom, inside the classroom. After all, he was playing outside the classroom, you see. Dan, the part on dan is the huraian ringkas, short explanation what I would do. So maybe I will say, dan membantunya bertenang, help to calm him down. Of course, you can write other answers and menanyakan keadaannya, ask him whether he's alright or not. Or dan memberi air kepadanya, also can. Let him drink some water. Now, seterusnya, the second part, remember to write seterusnya. That means after that, saya akan. So for me, maybe I will say, seterusnya, jika dia terluka, maybe he's hurt. If he is hurt, saya akan membawanya ke bilik rawatan. So I bring him to the first aid room. Okay. Untuk sapu ubat, so I'm giving a small isi. Lalu means following that, memaklumkan hal ini kepada guru kelas. Following that, tell the class teacher about it. Or you can also say other things like maybe you call the class monitor to inform the teacher while you sit there and accompany him. It's also okay. So important thing is write like this. Follow the question, give 1 point and a short explanation, and then use the word seterusnya, what you will do. Same thing, give 1 point and 1 short explanation. So use words like dan, lalu, atau, what we call kata hubung. Okay, so there is 1 point and 1 small explanation, another point and another explanation, and that's it. Okay, so I will continue to the next bahagian C in my next video. And then hopefully I can find out, not hopefully, I'm sure I will do it also. Find some time to maybe give you some guide, some examples and how to write soalan 2. Of course, I will also spend time to teach you some tata bahasa. Okay, like example, the difference between menghadiahi and menghadiahkan, menaiki dan menaikkan, all these tata bahasa grammar. Okay, and of course this I'll show you maybe a few more so that you have an idea of how to do bahagian B and the whole paper in general. Okay, so remember to subscribe to me. When you receive the notification, remember to watch, because I'm sure in the long run or even in the short run, you will learn something. Okay, so goodbye and see you again in my next video.